by chance that George evaded arrest that night when Mrs. Gandhi put just about every national leader in the opposition into jail on the night of 26th June. Why? Because I had invited George to come and visit me and our little baby son, at that time 1 year 5 months old, and my mother. We were living on the seaside in a small little hamlet called Gopalpur-on-Sea, close to the railhead Berhampur. And so we were already there, and days were passing by. George was not coming. I had given up hope, and we had a signal between us to alert that we were coming, one or the other. So his was a whistle. At 10 o'clock at night, on the night of 25th of June, I heard this whistle in our little house, and I said to my mother, I think George is here. She said, no, how can anyone come here at 10 o'clock at night and we have no food? So I said, I don't know. But I went down the rickety steps of a very old house built in the 1920s by my grandfather. And there was George. So we were delighted, and we managed to put something together for a little frugal meal. We went to bed early in the morning at about 5 or 6. Several villagers, local fishermen, came running to our house. They all knew our house. It was made famous by my grandfather, who had moved there in the 1920s. And they said, there's terrible news, terrible news. And I said, what? There's an emergency. Everybody's been arrested in the opposition. We put two and two together. Mrs. Gandhi this was her reaction to the adverse High Court judgment, Allahabad High Court judgment. She had to secure herself with this measure of ultimate insecurity by arresting people. So it was a very climactic day. I mean, there was no question of us being relaxed or having a holiday. It was a question of what now, what's happening. It was very confusing. So then we made a quick trip to Berhampur, the railhead, 9 miles away, and the union boys came around to George, and they had a little powwow. I think they decided that since George was not arrested, he must get out somehow. So it was a very fateful day, that 26th of June. We returned back to Gopalpur-on-Sea, and I said, you have to go? He said, yes, I have to go. I said, where? He said, I don't know. I said, but when will I meet you? He said, I don't know. And I said, you better put on something so nobody recognizes you. So he had a sarong on, lungi. So he tied it up knee high and put a big gamcha on his head. And some union chap came in an old Fiat car. And that was the last I saw of George Fernandes for 22 months. Never knowing where he was, but occasionally getting letters while I was still in India, letters from the underground which are famous, which are probably lost, not documented. Needless to say, I had no visitors whatsoever coming to see me out of sheer fright, except a couple who were brave enough and said, I don't care, and they came to visit me, and we heard some more terrible news about JP not feeling well and so on and so forth. We were running a anti-establishment newspaper weekly called Pratipaksh in Hindi. So the little accountant was sitting at my doorstep when I returned from Gopalpur into Delhi, and he said, "Aap abhi bhag jaiye idhar se. Please run." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you will get arrested also. We are all going to get arrested. And Pratipaksh has already been sealed." So I said, "I can't run anywhere." He said, "No, take anticipatory bail." It was all very confusing. Anyway, during the period from June end until end September, all I did was to plot and plan how to leave the country. A, to save my child, because I knew that one of these days I would get arrested, and then he has to come with me, and then in the jail a little boy cannot survive. That was one thought, and the other was, if I can get away, I will be free to talk. So in this period, a professor from JNU, who vaguely resembled George, he had bush shirt, pant, same kind of dark glasses with thick rims, nice man, he came with some toys, and I passed him all the underground papers which I had collected up to now. And the next thing I knew, somehow or the other, he managed to communicate with me and said, "Oh, it was terrible, it was terrible. I just stepped out of your house and I was arrested." So this was the measure of insecurity and the vigilance that Mrs. Gandhi had put on. So he was arrested, and then he excused himself to go to the latrine, and he said, I am very ashamed to tell you, but I destroyed all those papers you gave me and I pushed it down the flush. I am very ashamed. And after that,
you were arrested on that day?
No, I was not arrested. He was. They thought he was George Fernandes. They thought they kept a vigil around my house non-stop, 24/7. And seeing this man, they said, "Bachcha ko to dekhne zarur aa raha hai. Must be coming to see somewhere that emotional frailty will be in George Fernandes. He will come." I knew George better. I did not wish him to come, did not want him to come. I can manage without him. Because coming means getting arrested. So that was one episode. After that, nobody came. I tried a couple of places for jobs. Since Pratipaksh was sealed, I had to do something. But I would go so far up to in the interview until connections came up, and then immediately, like a hot potato, I was dropped. So there was no choice. What was the choice? I studied where can I run without a visa and survive without money. Because those days, if I apply for anything formally, it will be revealed that I am trying to go. There, today I can tell, because it's a long time, Lufthansa, I salute Lufthansa for the role they played in helping me get away. And for that, there was somebody in the German embassy who was a friend of mine. She said, "You go to Lufthansa and give my name and meet only the manager, Sasi." So I went to that Janpat building, and downstairs they said, "What is your name, please?" I said, "I have no name, no nothing. I'm sent by so and so to meet Mr. Sasi." So she got a fright and went right up to Mr. Sasi, and he closed the door behind me in the room. "What can I do for you, madam?" I said, "I want to get away from India, and I've thought about Canada because it does not require a visa for us. At that time, no visa was required. We were in the Commonwealth." So he said, "All right." And then we planned our trip, economy class, of course. And by that time, I had become a superb driver, how to throw off these detectives and constables and whatnot. Like I could see their cars. Once I was evading them near Green Park, they were following me nicely. So I shot into the Green Park market, went through in several lanes, this way, that way, and said, "I think I've thrown them off." And I emerged back onto the main road of Yusuf Sarai, and there they were, so I waved to them. And they smiled. So I was very, very tense on the night of my departure. I chose I said, "Sase, give me a really early in the hour morning, because our Indians are very lazy. Even if they want to be vigilant, they will go to sleep." So there they were. I could see the car, this very house, down the lane. And my mother, of course, meanwhile, looking at me and saying, "You are coming back after a few months. Why are you taking all this jewelry?" I was opening my Godrej cupboard saying, "I have no money. Let me take a little bit of jewelry that I had as a socialist, hardly anything, but still a bangle, some necklace and so on. I thought I could trade it in, make some money with that and survive for the child." She said, "Why are you taking that? It's safe in the Godrej cupboard." And she's looking at me plaintively, "But you're coming back." I said, yes, I'm coming back. I put all the jewelry back into the cupboard, and in the airport I got $14. My mother gave me $35. She said, "I saved this from the last trip. You take this." $35 plus $14, whatever it was. So in the plane between here and Frankfurt, I said, "Now I must take presents for this family where I'm going." This is George's younger brother, Paul Fernandes. He agreed to send the ticket, so I wouldn't be buying it from here. On the condition, I said, "I'll be paying you back." So the ticket came. Sasi told me, "You're fine. One-way ticket." I don't know, in those days it must have allowed it. I can't remember. So I said, "I have to take presents for his children. I've never even seen them. What will they think? What kind of auntie without any present?" So in Frankfurt airport, I ran to the toy shops And my son, who's just 1 year 5 months, he really doesn't. 1 year 8 months now. He doesn't know what's going on, so he's not asking for anything. Thank God. So I got 2 motorcycles, beautiful ones, Harley Davidson or something model, and spent about $20. So the balance was still in my pocket. And I landed there on the 30th September 1st October night 1975. 3rd October I get a call from Lawrence Fernandes. George is the next brother to George, Lawrence Fernandes, who was later beaten and tortured badly and is now dead. So Lawrence said, "Leila, your whole house has been cleared out. Everything is gone. Godrej cupboard smashed." So I said, "Okay." And I sat quietly. My sister-in-law is a Gujarati lady. Paul married a Gujarati lady. Suddenly, after waiting 3-4 hours, she pounced on me and said, "Why are you not upset? You've lost everything." I thought a little bit. I said, "No, I haven't. I have everything. I have my son. Safe. What more do I want?" So there are lots of other tales about the emergency, but then finally I reached USA. There was a strike going on. I couldn't call my brother. I had no money to call, and I was too proud to call collect. You can call collect. Anyway, I passed a message through Indrani Rahman. She came dancing. I saw a little blurb, "Indrani is in town dancing," so I made a point of going to see her, sent messages. There was a postal strike. So she got in touch probably with my brother. So after a very difficult time in Canada, when I got malaria also, and they thought I am hysterical. They assumed that I must have lost my mind because I was having fits and shaking and disoriented and no appetite. So I said to Paul, I said, "I think I got malaria." Anyway, another story. So I reached America, and it was wonderful there to be with my brother, his American wife and his 2 kids. I had no cooking skills. I was on a 2-month visa which I got in Canada. I did not try for anything in India, not to be traced. So over there they said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want a visitor's visa." "What for?" I said, "My brother lives there. This is his phone number. This is this." He readily gave it to me, 2 months. So it was valid till 26th of January 1976. So with that visa I came along to my brother's. My brother meanwhile made a trip to India and came back very somber face. He says, "Your passport has been impounded." I said, "Huh?" So he gave me the registered letter which had come to this house, which he brought along. "I am a threat to the security of the state." They cited several clauses of I don't know which act by which my passport was now impounded. So I said to my brother, "It means I can't travel," because I had already made a plan that I will get to England somehow. And I had a contact and I was going to work in a jewellery shop. Things I've never done in my life, but you have to do things when you have to. So he said, "Yes, I don't think you can travel." I said, "I better make a trip to Washington. Go to the consulate, immigration people." And then over there, they had heard about George. Quite a few people were well aware about George. And I told them I was George's wife, and I had taken the boy with me, who is now 2 years old. So he said, "We can't give you a visa, we shall give you a no status visa." So I had a no status visa, which means I stay on in USA. Then many more things. I don't know, I should stop because there are a lot of narratives to tell about from January till June 1976 when George got arrested, how the movement abroad was highly escalated.
But